going to be cut off completely. Back at the start of the year when the council, when Diamond confirmed that we were just going to face a sudden withdrawal. Well, obviously it wasn't the case, but it was only the Salford section that was cut off. It was going to be because obviously the patronage, and obviously the 125 just continued to operate, but with a revised timetable. Now, the newest change on this route sees the 125 is now going up by the Kidderminster town centre. So it's now going up Worcester Street now. Now, Worcester Street doesn't have many bustling shops compared to how it used to, because a lot of the shops had stopped trading over the years, even during the 2008 recession. Some stores have been flattened and bulldozed. Of course, used to have brands like the Arcadia group. So, as you know, we're on the right street light, double forwards, and this includes leather seats. Also USB chargers just to charge your mobile device. So this used to be where the old Poundland used to be, at Littlewoods department store. I remember Littlewoods back in the day. And of course the lovely Pastor Wonderworld. Yeah, you used to have all this here, but obviously not anymore. So we're just now heading away from Kidderminster. And we're now on the Swan Centre. It's really good to finally see the 125 coming up and down this part of the route to provide better connections to onward bus routes. And so this was a street light that was originally scheduled for Aviva, but obviously things just went pear-shaped, so instead they came to Diamond. So over there is overlooking the horse fair with that famous horseshoe landmark. Today is a brilliant day here in Kidderminster, and Joe's Bus Train High Lift Adventures is ready to explore for more historical places. Here we go. So it's 14 miles to Bridgnorth and nearly half an hour to Leicester. So there we see St Mary's Church. One of Kiddy's iconic churches of all time. And there is a HGV lorry for the rain. Anyway, just overlooking there in the distance is the Bewdley Retail Park, which has the top main stores, and just about past is just past us was an Optare Solo SR working for the 292 service from Ludlow to Kidderminster, and across the retail park also features the Sainsbury's supermarket. So even though that is the route to Bridgnorth, but obviously this route goes via the Bewdley way to Bridgnorth. So as you know, for the first part of the journey we're on to Worcestershire County Council, and we're just now coming towards Kidderminster General Hospital in Bridgnorth on the Bewdley Road. So there's a church there with a red clock, which is part of the Kidderminster General Hospital. Now originally the 125 went direct onto Bewdley, but now it takes an alternative route. actually goes via the Haverley estate, so it goes via Haverley Way. So if you want to go towards places like the Westminster Safari Park, you should change here and jump onto the 291, the Yankton service to
Yeah, I know.
towards the Diamond service to that 225.
No, it used to go over there. No, it goes up to Haverley Estate first. And then back into Bewdley and down to
just now coming by the Haverley police station. Well, Kidderminster police station. Now I'm going to just drop the camera because we don't want to be caught, because obviously certain little places are private, so we want to respect their privacy. Yeah. And also shout out who has, so a big shout out to Fireboy Born, who has joined me on this trip as my travel buddy for today. And yesterday we was on the Droitwich town services, so that includes the 157 and the 19, followed by the 22A to Ulster. And obviously there will be more videos coming up on the channel very soon, and I'm going to let you know. So obviously I'll just start the videos as I do it. Now the Haverley estate was previously served by the number 8 that ran from Rifle Range to Hales Park, and the 8 was introduced in 2020. Replacing the one from Kidderminster to Rifle Range and the 2 from Kidderminster to Hales Park. The 2 did serve the Haverley estate, but that lasted until 2018 and then was taken over by the Haverley Community Bus. But when things went pear-shaped in 2020, the Haverley Community Bus was suspended and withdrawn. And however, the 2 continue to operate between Kidderminster and Hales Park, but running via the Safari Park instead of the Haverley estate, and still covering Bridgnorth, but the Barkhill end became the 2A and then the 2A withdrawn, leaving Barkhill with out of us service. And the 2 did get suspended in 2020 and then was resumed to normal service, but it was like 2020 when the 2s and the 1s were merged to become one service, and so it became the 8 with one journey just doing Kidderminster to Rifle Range, and the 1 did serve the Silverwoods Leisure Centre, but when the 8 came it just bypasses the Silverwoods estate, and then with the 8 introduction it saw the reintroduction of Barkhill and Haverley estates. So that meant the bus service provided more, so that meant a regular service occurred on the 8th. So that meant the bus service was running along the Haverley estates. Okay, so the journey is just now recommencing. So we're now on our way, just continuing along the Haverley estate. Now the 125 is a 3 bus working operation, so it's worked by 3 vehicles, and daytime with no service on what would have to do evenings or Sunday daytimes. And the 125 is operated from the Kidderminster garage. It was previously run by Central Buses, and before Central Buses it was run by Whittles and Coach, if you remembered Whittles. Did the service work around Kidderminster back then. onto towards the bridge, which carries the tracks of the Severn Valley Railway. So here we go, there's the red brick, and at the moment soon we'll be turning, and then we'll be turning left, passing the Bewdley co-op general store. Now at the moment Bewdley is still a one-way service through the high street, and that means you have to find alternative locations within the area to make their connection for the return journey back to the centre of Kidderminster. And Bewdley provides connections for Temporary Wales, also to Bridgnorth. There's even a connection here with the 2-hour lane 296 service bound for Worcester. So here's the river, here's the River Severn, there's the Merchant's Chimney. So here we are, now at Bewdley Old Street. Okay then, we're just about to head out of Bewdley, just drop the camera for a bit because obviously a lot of people are around. You see, even though filming is alright, if you just try and get consent from other customers before you upload them, and if they wish not to be used in the footage, but you must then comply with the instructions. Now, Bewdley also has a museum which is free admission, which is brilliant. So you can have a look at Bewdley's gorgeous museum. Here's the church, St Anne's, which sits right in the heart of the high street in Bewdley. It's a very nice popular church. There's the tower. So there used to be a co-op here, but obviously co-op pulled out of Bewdley High Street standard general store. That's because Tesco's has taken on a lot of the high streets these days. So they've got the Horn and Trumpet pub. So we're just about to leave Bewdley to Bridgnorth. So sit back, relax and enjoy the Diamond Boss 125 experience. Shropshire for the rest of our journey. then left goes towards the other way as well. Another part of the dual service on site. So this is Kidderminster. we're now on our way again after a bit of a quick layover in High Lane. We're about to continue en route, and just about to pass us is 32260, the white street light with the seatbelts in. That's working for the 125 bound for Kidderminster. And that one's got seatbelts, and the brand and the cars are actually orange. So we're now by the separator. Collier's Way. Copyright to Telford, Collier's Way. Right, after a bit of a we're now en route towards Bridgnorth now. Okay then, guys. As you know, we're on the 125 service bound for Bridgnorth, which is the market town in Shropshire. And I just hope you're enjoying the journey on the 125 service all the way towards Bridgnorth. And yes, we are doing a lot more exciting videos on the channel this time around, and Joe's Bus Train Plan Lift Adventures has begun to evolve. And of course I do TikTok videos, so if you want to see my TikToks, follow me, Riding Buses Live on TikTok. So follow my TikTok account, Riding Buses. I do great videos, not only my dance videos. I'm now starting to integrate my journey videos into TikTok, so that's going to be brilliant, just to attract more viewers. So hover over to Riding Buses on TikTok, because that's my TikTok account. And yeah, so more and more exciting videos will be coming soon on Joe's Bus Train Plan Lift Adventures. So as you know, National Express West Midlands starts the new X20 service from Birmingham to Bromsgrove tomorrow. Or is it Monday? I don't know, but I know it's all changed. So that means West Bromwich will no longer be operating the Bromsgrove link, sadly. So it'll be the end for West Bromwich on the Bromsgrove, as West Bromwich's 48 will re-extend back into Northfield to do what the route used to do back then. So it is a sad time to say goodbye to the X-Twin, to the 20 that's serving Bromsgrove. But now with an X20 going into Bromsgrove from Birmingham, it just really sounds very, very phenomenal. So that's it. And of course, this is the last day of Beale's department store in Bournemouth. So today marks the last day of the Beale's department store. So it's all changed. So we're now so we'll soon be arriving at Bridgnorth, where the bus service will terminate, and then Bridgnorth, you get connections to various different destinations, such as Shrewsbury, Telford, and of course Wolverhampton. So you've got Shrewsbury, Telford, and Wolverhampton, which are provided from Bridgnorth High Town. Well, Bridgnorth, obviously, certain areas you have to change buses. So if you go to, so I'm gonna just reveal the changes that's happening on the bus services, because I know we got the X20 starting up, and so we're just going over the tracks of the Severn Valley Railway that goes from Kidderminster to Bridgnorth. So here I go. I'm just going to take you through the service changes. So the 15A, Wolverhampton to Maryhill via Wombourne, and the 16 from Wolverhampton to Stalebridge via Wombourne. The service 15A, which runs on the Sundays, is now withdrawn, and the service 15 is curtailed to operate half-hourly between Maryhill and Wombourne only, with a slightly revised routing in Wombourne. Late evening and Sunday journeys will operate between Wallheath and Maryhill. The service 16 Monday to Friday daytime frequency will be increased to every 20 minutes, with a slight route change in Wombourne, and a new 16A service is introduced between Wolverhampton and Wombourne, which will operate late evenings and Sundays. The 20 from the QE Hospital to Bromsgrove via Northfield and Catshill, and the 20A from the QE Hospital to Cofton Hackett via Northfield. Those services are withdrawn, and the service 20 will be replaced by a new X20 service connecting Birmingham and Bromsgrove via University, Selly Oak, Northfield, Redknapp, Rubery, Catshill and Sidemore. And Monday to daytime service operates every half an hour between Birmingham and Rednor providing additional capacity alongside the X21 and the X22 between the city centre and the university. And there'll be alternative, with University Station, and also alternate journeys continuing on to Bromsgrove hourly. Sunday journeys are going to operate hourly through to Bromsgrove, an improvement on the current 2-hourly frequency. And Cofton Hackett is no longer going to be served by National Express, so that means passengers can continue to use the 145 and the 145A services to connect with the services at Longbridge and Rubery, which is run by Diamond. The 48A so over to the West Bromwich area, the 22 from Bearwood to Albury via Bridgnorth and Langley Green. 48 from West Bromwich to the QE Hospital via Bearwood and Holborn. 48A from West Bromwich to Bearwood via Worley. And the 54 from West Brom to World's End. The 48A is withdrawn, but the service 48 daytime frequency is increasing to every 20 minutes. From University Station, the route is extended onto Northfield to replace that part of the curtailed 76. Bus service, and bus services will be going, and the buses will be going via Mindlestone Way and Metchley Lane to join the Quinton Road and also the interchange at the QE Hospital, which is no longer going to be served. So the QE Hospital's not going to be served, the interchange itself. So the 54 is revised to operate via Bristol Hall Road and George Road, and the service 22 is revised between George Road and Norman Road to serve the Hilltop Road and the Salop Road to partly replace the revised 54 and the withdrawn 48A services. The 76 from Solihull to Northfield via the QE, the service is only going to run between the QE and Solihull Town Centre, and the section between the QE and Northfield will mostly be replaced by an extended 48, and the services 19 and 55 will continue to provide links to Holborn from the QE Hospital bus interchange, and alternatively passengers can change onto the popular 11A, 11C, the outer circles at Selly Oak. Solihull Station is also no longer served, so passengers should use stops on Blossomfield Road next to Tudor Grange Leisure Centre to access the rail station. The 77A from Walsall to Erdington via Sutton Coldfield's changing, so all information is found on the WM Bus Users website. So anyway, we're just now arriving into Bridgnorth, and Bridgnorth, you get connections to a variety of different destinations. So you've got the 8 that goes on to Telford, the 9 to Wolverhampton, the 113 and the 114 to Telford, the 115 and the 116, which only operates on Saturdays, to Weston Heath, 297 to Kidderminster via Arveley, and also the 436 from Bridgnorth to Shrewsbury. And also Bridgnorth has a local service called the 101, but the number 9 also serves parts of the 101 route itself. So we're coming to the end of the journey. I would like to say thank you to all the viewers who watch my YouTube channel. There's going to be more and more videos coming up very soon here on Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures. So keep your eyes peeled on that. So we're now arriving at Bridgnorth. This is the last stop on the journey.